Keep informed with the latest happening near you.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
They are training to save lives. We saw a local emergency crews on the Savannah Rapids for water rescue training today. We have a closer look at their work to help keep you safe when you're on the water.
Plus, there's a warning out for women not to travel this local trail alone. What you need to know and the best ways law enforcement say you can protect yourself.
And Georgia's governor just wrapping up his visit to Augusta. We'll hear from Governor Brian Kemp about his thoughts after his tour of our burn center.
But first, Aiken County Sheriff Michael Hunt, Administrator Clay Killian, and others all being sued in federal court. It is the latest development in our I-Team investigation, Aiken County 911.
A year ago, we brought you the story of Barbara Roberts, the Aiken County woman who suffered what her family calls a minor heart attack back in 2019. But after documented failures from 911 dispatch to EMS, Roberts later suffered a brain injury. She held on for a couple more years, confined to a bed in a nursing home, and then died a few weeks ago in hospice care.
The sheriff and county administrator are being sued in their official and individual capacity. The family is also suing the dispatcher who hung up on them and miscoded the call, an act this lawsuit says was done maliciously and intentionally.
So tonight, the I-Team breaks down what this new federal lawsuit could mean for taxpayers.
Barbara Ann Carol Roberts died earlier this month. Her obituary online remembers her as a loving, adoring grandmother who was strong in her faith. But this new 38-page lawsuit filed in federal court shows her family's faith in Aiken County Emergency Services shattered in May 2019. Frank Roberts is the son with her when she suffered a heart attack. He called 911.
Yes, we need an ambulance immediately. On the road.
Wait the road?
Yes.
Why do you need an ambulance?
Cardiac arrest, cardiac arrest. We need an ambulance immediately.
Sir, you don't need to keep repeating you need an ambulance immediately. I need to know what's going on. What do you need cardiac arrest?
Cardiac arrest. Have a heart attack. Get somebody out here.
Sir, why are you yelling at me? I'm not yelling at you. Is this taking you longer to take this call? Because you keep repeating yourself.
And then she hangs up the 911 call. The I-Team has never named the dispatcher on the other line, but the Roberts family does in this lawsuit, alleging Jeannie Turner hung up with malicious intent, downgrading the call. They are suing her too. The suit cites evidence such as cameras display Turner bragging to other dispatchers that I hung up on him and proclaiming that she did not have time for that. The suit claims Turner then improperly, intentionally, and with actual malice improperly coded the call as a report of chest pain. The suit also says Turner failed to pass the required training program for 911 dispatchers, scoring only 56%. Despite that, by 2017, Turner was promoted and began to supervise and train other 911 dispatchers for the county.
I hope that this is a wake-up call for Aiken and that maybe they will start improving their standard of care so that the citizens of Aiken get the care that they deserve.
The Roberts family tells the I-Team they believe failure by top leadership, including Aiken County Sheriff Michael Hunt, is to blame. Hunt's office oversees 911 dispatch. In this email today, the sheriff's spokesperson said Hunt declined to comment on the suit. Last year, Hunt told the I-Team,
the bottom line is those dispatchers are humans. They're going to make a mistake once in a while.
But the Roberts say he and County Administrator Clay Killian knew about the staffing issues and shortages for years. Between 2016 and 2019, defendants shut down up to 5 of their 10 EMS stations at a time due to understaffing or funding issues. Their customs significantly increased the risk of harm to the public. They also cite in 2019, the county had among the worst retention rate for 911 dispatchers for all counties in South Carolina. The lawsuit alleges Barbara Roberts' civil rights were violated by the people paid by taxpayers to protect them. Taxpayers like Barbara Roberts, who worked for years serving others as a cook in the Aiken County school system, a family matriarch now gone, but the battle far from over.
And the suit is seeking a jury trial and damages, much of which would also be paid for by taxpayers if a jury rules in favor of the Roberts family.
As for Mr. Killian, we also reached out to him for a comment, but he also declined, citing this pending litigation. But back in May, he did talk to the I-Team about the improvements the county has made since our initial investigation, including salary increases, new hires, and stopping the practice of shutting down those stations. There's much more news ahead after we give you a live look outside.
The governor says it just adds to the list of great things Augusta has to offer, like the Masters and Cyber Command. Just into our newsroom in the last hour, Richmond County Schools will no longer require face masks for the upcoming school year. That goes for students and staff. The Board of Education just making that call today, saying schools will comply with the governor's latest executive order, which lets Georgia's public health state of emergency expire coming up here on July 1st. Masks still have to be worn on school buses. That is a federal guideline for public transportation.
Most of our local school districts are keeping busy this summer, hiring for the upcoming school year.
Today, Richmond County Schools held their own career fair, and our Zeta Halliburton is live with us in the studio with how districts are doing when it comes to filling all of these positions.
As of yesterday, Richmond County Schools are looking to fill 69 teacher positions, and as you can see by this list right here, that's not the only position they're hiring for. Bus drivers, nutritionists, counselors are all on this list.
Teachers, bus drivers, and nutritionists are just some of the jobs Richmond County is looking to fill.
As our students are coming back to the classroom, we want to make sure that we have teachers who are qualified, capable, excited, and energetic, ready to serve our students and help them as they transition back into the classroom.
With just over a month left in summer break, officials say they actually have more filled positions than last year and even before the pandemic. Out of 56 schools, 35 are looking to hire, but officials tell me they're right on track.
So our goal is to make sure that we continue to push aggressively to hire the people that we need to know that our students have everything they need when school starts.
And with events like these job fairs, districts get a good idea of just how many people are interested.
I enjoy working with children. I enjoy getting to know their stories and just spending time with them and kind of finding out where they are and helping them get to where they want to be.
Over in Aiken County, school officials are actually seeing the opposite. They tell me it's not just teacher positions, even custodial jobs have been hard to fill this summer. But they say they're not worried, just working hard to get enough people in these positions. A task school employees on both sides of the river are ready to take on.
It's never been a day that I come to work that I just say, I really don't want to be here. It's that smile on those kids' faces to say, I want to learn, I want to be great. And that's something that I'm encouraged to do my teachers as well as my staff, to make sure we pour everything into those kids to ensure that they're great.
And here's a breakdown in Aiken County of the vacant teacher positions they were looking to hire going into each year. You can see on your screen they're looking to fill 18 more teacher positions this year compared to before the pandemic. Officials tell me this is because of challenges from the pandemic, but they are not worried and will keep their eye on their open positions. We also got numbers from Columbia County. The county says it's also facing more challenges compared to 2019 because the school district is growing. They say they've seen about a 4% increase in openings for certified positions this year.
A busy season for hiring. Zena, thank you. The nationwide ban on evictions is extended for 30 more days. The moratorium originally set to end at the end of this month. Now the Biden administration is extending that to July 31st. It helps keep people unable to pay rent in those homes. City leaders say it impacts around 200 families here in Augusta alone. The CDC says the intention is for this to be the last extension.
The split of the Augusta Judicial Circuit will remain on hold. Just a few days ago, the judge who put the split on hold was tossed out of the case. Now we are learning the split still won't take effect July 1st like it was originally planned. A hearing on the case has been scheduled for July 12th, so that means things are on hold at least until then.
You know, we love it when Augusta gets on the big screen.
It is so fun trying to play I Spy, and if you haven't seen it yet, the trailer for the new Suicide Squad is out. You might remember they filmed parts of it at the old jail off of Walton Way, which is just creepy enough to be perfect.
On a good day, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely spot the jail in this new trailer, so check it out.
Wrdw is in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
I'm not joining your Suicide Squad.
We'll see.
My court date is coming up. And Miss Waller said maybe you could help me out.
Oh yeah, some pretty intense moments there, but cool to see a piece of Augusta on the big screen, even if it isn't our most attractive building.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what all the deputies who used to work in that old LEC say. You know, it had mold, that thing was struggling.
But in the movies, it looks just as scary.
Fantastic. But the movie is said to be released in just a little more than a month on August 6th, so definitely put that on your calendar. You'll be able to spot a little bit of Augusta.
And a loaded cast, really is.
Star-studded cast.
Sure. Definitely cool to see that, and can't wait to check out some of the Augusta vibes in there. Now, our rate of it, we'll have a look at that coming up.
Also had intense training meant to save lives on the water. We're going to take a closer look at the action next. Well, if you're ever in trouble, out on the water, these are the people you can count on to come to your rescue. And you're looking at members of the Augusta Fire Department and Columbia County Fire Rescue as they got together performing a training exercise earlier today. That's out of the Savannah Rapids.
They do this kind of training every few years, but given the number of drownings we've seen so far this summer, emergency officials say they're being even more proactive when it comes to boater safety out there.
News 12's Nick Proto live with us in the studio with the steps they're taking to prevent another tragedy.
In the last few months, we've seen 7 drownings here in the CSRA. Officials today told me they've never seen this many incidents this early in the season. And now they're training their teams, so hopefully we won't see any more of these incidents anytime soon.
7 drownings in less than 2 months in the area. 7 families mourning loved ones, and 2 agencies working to make sure it doesn't happen again. The Augusta Fire Department and Columbia County Fire Rescue say they're constantly going through rescue training, but go through a formal training every 3 to 4 years.
This training will actually help us for those instances where we have people that their kayaks get away from them, and then it will also help us in the event of any type of flooding situation or things like that.
The teams spend most of the day going through different scenarios, ranging from simple rescues to actually jumping in the water and saving someone.
We want to be able to get out there and save them, and give them the best shot to be able to come back to dry land in one piece.
They say you should treat a boat or kayak like you would treat driving a car.
Know your route, know where you're going, and make sure someone else knows where you're going. So you have to be aware of your surroundings and everything, and also don't drink.
They say the number one thing to remember is to wear a life jacket, and if someone's struggling in the water, try throwing them a life preserver first before diving in after them, because even the most experienced swimmers can get pulled under by someone who's panicking.
The Augusta Fire Department needed to use some of those measures just yesterday. They responded to a call in the Augusta Canal where they had to pull 3 people from the water. Thankfully, all 3 were all right, but that just shows you this training can save lives.
Really need those people with that training when you need it the most. Nick, thanks for showing us that. We're continuing to follow the investigation into the drowning deaths of E.J. Kirk and Ian Wilson as well. And right now, a district attorney's office is deciding whether criminal charges will be brought in that case. Both men drowned at Clarksville Lake back in April. You might remember a video made its rounds on social media. It appeared to show one of the men pushed into the water. No charges have been found yet, but we're told if there are charges, they could range from reckless conduct to manslaughter.
Some serious concerns this evening in Columbia County after multiple reports of a man approaching women along the Uchee Creek trails.
We found at least 2 women have filed reports with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, with more on social media claiming to have very similar experiences.
Our Sloan O'Cone out on the trails for us with more about what these women say is happening to them.
I'm actually right near the spot where one of the women claims a man approached her. He asked her to take a picture on his phone. He then handed it to her, and when she looked down, what was on the screen was not what she expected.
It's one thing where the path runs along Columbia Road, highly visible, but there are really some secluded areas on that path.
And these secluded areas are where police say a man is approaching women and showing them sexually explicit photos. For most who walk the Uchee Creek Greenway, they don't know this has been happening.
I talked to everyone on here, so I didn't know there was an issue.
And that's why the sheriff says it's so important to be aware.
It was obviously weird, and we don't want things to deteriorate, and so that's why we'd like to ask folks to not walk alone, carry some protection, call us anything suspicious.
Only 2 police reports have been filed, which makes it seem like an isolated incident, but posts in Facebook groups show that this isn't just a 2-time thing. 3 other women, including a teenager. Now, members of the neighborhood have heard about it before and practice safety tips.
I'm careful when I'm walking around, like I only wear one headphone and I pay attention to what I'm doing. And if I feel like I don't want to talk to somebody, I'm going to keep going.
The reports describe the suspect as a young black man, 5'8" to 6 foot in high, with short hair.
The sheriff's office says it's more important now than ever to walk in groups or pairs, listen to music in one ear or very low, and as always, stay alert. In Grovetown, Sloan O'Cone on your side.
And Sloan, we appreciate that warning there. Let's turn now to a check of the weather with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Ryan.